Thanks for tuning in to watch The Ordinary Filmmaker. It's Friday, November the 5th, 2021, and I've got some big news for you. Well, it's big news if you pre-ordered the Nikon Z9. If you didn't, well, it's still just camera news, so you might as well stick around. You're already this far into the video. I mean, you've already spent, what, 15 seconds, right? After all, it's an awful lot of effort to... Oh, you clicked it, didn't you? Well, for the rest of you that are still here, Nikkei's reported that Nikon is busily producing 35,000 Nikon Z9s a month. Sounds like a lot, doesn't it? Well, there's also a rumor that there's already 400,000 pre-orders on the Nikon Z9. Now, we don't really know how valid this is, but if the Nikon Z9 is as popular as it seems all the rumors are indicating, and based on the reception that it received, 35,000 units a month doesn't seem like it's going to be enough to satisfy the demand of all the pre-orders. The Nikon Z9 is truly an amazing flagship camera by Nikon. It leapfrogs the competition in many areas. And regardless of your view on whether you like Canon, Nikon, Sony, Panasonic, and others, the Nikon Z9 is a very serious camera. It is Nikon's flagship camera, and it looks pretty good. It's got a lot of great capabilities. If you remember last year when Canon announced the R5, it was in short supply for pretty much the entire year, and I think that's what we're going to see with the Nikon Z9. If you've pre-ordered it already, great, you'll probably get it pretty soon, and many of you have told me that you have pre-ordered it. If you haven't and want to pre-order it, I've got a couple of links down below, one for B&H and Amazon. I don't think they have any in stock yet, although if they do, I'll have that pre-order link there as well. But the Z9 is shaping up to be an amazing camera. Now, as far as availability for it will be, it could be 6 months or so before it's pretty easy to get one, before the number of orders catch up with how many they're able to produce. Now, we don't know when they started producing, but if they are able to produce 35,000 a month times 10 months, that's 350,000 units. That doesn't account for the 400,000 pre-orders that are rumored to have taken place. And even if there were 400,000 pre-ordered Nikon Z9s, it doesn't mean that all of those will be converted into sales. Sometimes people will pre-order on multiple sites hoping that they can get in there really quickly. I did with the R5. I pre-ordered from Downtown Camera, but I also put in a word at Henry's, and I even tried B&H. But I only ended up buying one. So the Nikon Z9, it'll be coming out pretty soon, I imagine. I'm really excited to actually see what one of these is like, to be able to get some hands-on with it. And I think that's going to really help drive the SEPA numbers for the tail end of this year, or most likely into the first quarter of 2022. Now, unfortunately, we are still being affected by all the various different factors affecting supply chains, where we have a shortage of shipping containers. Well, actually, we don't. Here in North America, we've got a ton of shipping containers, and we don't know where to put them all. But in Asia, there's a huge demand for shipping containers to ship us more stuff. And of course, we have a whole bunch of ships queued up in ports like Long Beach, LA, and British Columbia in Vancouver. So there's a huge queue. Then they have to get offloaded. There's a shortage of personnel from shipping to offloading on the cranes. It's just a huge amount of shortages there. Plus, we also have shortages in semiconductors for certain components. I don't think we're going to see this situation really get much better until about 2024. So if you have pre-ordered the Z9 already, well, you're probably going to get that in the first couple of months. If you haven't and you're looking at pre-ordering now, it could take you as much as 6 months to get the Nikon Z9. All right, that's it for today's news. Now, I want to take you a little bit behind the scenes. I haven't done a behind the scenes piece for some time. And to be honest with you, I've just been super busy. The last 2 weeks, it was all about the Nikon Z9. The Nikon Z9 was driving the news cycle, and you also had the Sony a7 IV. In 1 week, I was covering both of those, producing as many as 4 videos in one day. And what I'm trying to do now is, instead of doing these longer videos where I cover up multiple topics, I do one topic per video, allows me to get them out sooner, spend less time on them, and that makes it a little bit more manageable on my side. But now that we're done with that busy news cycle, I'm able to focus back on reviews. Tomorrow morning, it's Friday still, yep. Tomorrow morning, I have a new video coming out, a review video on, it's over here. The Angelbird Atom X 1TB SSD, and this is actually the 500 gigabyte. For the last several weeks, I've been running the 1 terabyte up in my Ninja 5. because I wanted to make sure it's just as reliable and dependable as the 500 gig. I keep calling it the 512 gig, but you know, on the back it says 500 gig. Do you remember the old days with memory where everything was, you know, base 2 math? It was 256K, 512K, 1024K, or 1.024 megabytes, 2048, 404. Now we're getting into nice round numbers like, anyhow, I'm moving off onto a topic I don't want to get into. It's just silliness. A couple of months ago, Youngno reached out to me asking me to do a review of their lens, and I did in comparison to the Canon 85mm. Well, Viltrox has just released an 85mm lens, and they've asked me to do a review too. So I'm going to get that in here shortly. How would you like me to do a review of that lens? Do you want me to do a standalone? Would you like me to bring the Village Mirror back and we do a comparison to the Canon 85mm? Do you want to see me do a more video or stills approach to the video, or balance it between video and stills? I like doing stills, and it does depend on which lens I have as to whether I feel like shooting video and stills. Yeah, I know you're not buying that. Look, I love shooting video most of the time too, but there are some lenses that have me focusing on stills, and that's this guy right here. This is the Canon RF 100mm f2.8 macro lens. And probably the main reason for that is I don't have a variable ND filter or any ND filters for this thing to stop the light down. So essentially, pretty well everything I've shot with this lens has been stills. Although I did shoot some footage of bees at 120 frames per second. I did enjoy that, but one of the things that I found a little bit frustrating is in 4K 120 on the R5, you just don't get that same level of detail. And I was really hoping, my vision when doing that was to replicate some of what I saw David Attenborough do. Well, what his cameraman was able to do, or camera woman. I was hoping to be able to reproduce some really high detail 4K 120, but while we can afford to purchase 4K 120 around $4,000 and nothing really below that, it doesn't ensure that we're going to get really high detail 4K 120. But I just wonder how capable the Nikon Z9 is going to be in 4K 120. I wonder how detailed it's going to be. Because you can always list a specification, but it doesn't really tell you how capable it's going to be. Oh, and one other thing too, please go ahead and click like and subscribe. It really does help this channel grow, and I take it as a virtual pat in the back. And yesterday, I only got 10 new subscribers. But clearly, YouTube said I had over 600 people watching that video. Or was it 1.5K? Come on, come on, come on. Go ahead, click subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything. It doesn't hurt you. And if you don't choose all notifications, you're not going to get a notification every time. So come on, help a guy out. Anyhow, seriously, you can tell I'm a little excited. I'm a little happy because the weekend is here. And I'm looking forward to getting outside and just taking a breather. The last couple of weeks, like I said, has been really, really busy with camera news, reviews. And now that I've been able to get my Angelbird review all wrapped up, I just have to do the description, the thumbnails and all that. I'll do that in a few hours. I can just relax and enjoy the weekend. Unless any news comes out. And right now, I'm not really seeing anything happening. It's kind of slow. If we had gotten something from Panasonic, we would have heard about that already. OM Digital, sorry, what are they called now? OM, there's an other word, S word, OM Service, something, I don't know. Olympus. Now that they've renamed themselves, I can't remember the name. And some of you said that, you know, the name is just not memorable enough. And, well, there's proof. Are we going to hear anything from Canon? Well, we could, but it's already November. If Canon's going to give us some sort of announcement, we'd expect it in the next couple of weeks because we're getting up to Black Friday. I don't know. There are no rumors about anything coming from Canon, although we were supposed to be getting a bunch of announcements. NAB 2021, where are all those 8K cameras we were supposed to get? Looks like Craig at Canon Rumors was correct. A lot that was supposed to be announced has just been pulled off the chalkboard, and they're going back and updating it, and they're going to re-release it again. So kind of boring there. Nikon, well, they've already made their announcement. Sony, well, they've made their announcement. Pentax. Last summer is the last time I heard anything from Pentax. we might hear something. But if they wait any longer, there's going to be more noise from Black Friday and the Christmas season than there will be of any announcement coming from Pentax. Who else? Panasonic. Yeah, no. No, Panasonic, I was wondering about their S series. It's almost 2 years. Not quite. It's 2 years in March when we got the S1, so still a little early for an update there. So I can expect that news is going to be pretty boring, pretty quiet. The only thing I think is going to make a bit of an excitement between now and Christmas is subtle leaks of the R1. I sense that marketing machine is going to start to gear up. They've seen the Nikon Z9. It looks like a formidable foe to the rumored R1. So we're going to get more tidbits being leaked out of Canon because they want to get some more attention. They don't want everybody going off and getting the Z9. They want to pull some of those people over to Canon. And of course the Z9. We're going to get stuff coming out about the Z9 and its performance numbers, and maybe even some more lenses. I talked to you a couple of days ago about Sigma producing 3 to 5 lenses for the RF mount in 2022. What are they going to be? I would really love to see Sigma bring some of their super telephoto lenses to the RF mount. Canon's got some good products in the 800mm and the 600mm, but they're at f11. Where Sigma, 150 to 650 or 600, with an f4.5 to 7.1, that would be quite interesting. Anyhow, what do you think? Let me know in the comment section down below, but that's it for now. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you again soon.